Kendra was 8 years old when they buried her father. The casket was closed. They said he was too sick, too swollen from whatever strange illness took him in his final hours. She remembered the funeral like it was yesterday. The loud wails, the overpowering scent of incense, her mother's trembling hands gripping her shoulders, and the haunting echo of her aunt's voice saying, "Your father was a good man, oh, but God knows best." But God, as far as Kendra was concerned, had made a mistake because her father died too soon, because he didn't even get to say goodbye, because her mother changed. After that, she became colder, stricter, like a woman who was always fighting back tears behind her tough face. By the time Kendra turned 25, she had accepted it. She would never know her father beyond the black and white portraits that hung in their sitting room. Life had moved on, sort of. She had graduated university with honors, and after she completed her NYSC, she moved to Port Harcourt for her first real job as a project assistant in an oil servicing firm. She was finally becoming something her late father would have been proud of, or so she thought. One ordinary Tuesday afternoon, Kendra's boss asked her to drop off some signed documents at a high-rise office building in GRA. She almost asked the office assistant to go in her place, but she needed the fresh air. Her heels clicked softly on the polished floors as she walked towards the front desk of a law firm on the 8th floor. That was when she saw him. He was sitting in the waiting area, laughing. Not just laughing, he was alive. Alive in a way that made her stomach turn. He had the same eyes, the same mouth, the same birthmark on his left cheek. Kendra froze. She blinked once, then twice. No, it couldn't be. But the moment he turned towards her, adjusting his agbada, she knew that it was her father, and he was still alive. She stumbled back like someone had slapped her. The documents slipped from her hand, scattering on the marble floor. The man, her father, looked at her. Their eyes locked in for a second, a long, suffocating second. Then he turned away. He looked away, just like that, as if she was no one, as if he hadn't died 17 years ago and left her to grow up with unanswered prayers and half-truths. So she ran. She didn't even know how she got back to the office. Her boss yelled about the unsigned delivery, but all she heard was white noise. Her heart was pounding so loudly, she thought it would crack her ribs. Her father was alive. Not just that, her father had looked at her and turned away. She didn't sleep that night. She didn't eat. She went online, found the law firm's name, dug deep, stalked his social media pages and their LinkedIn profiles, and there he was again. Gregory Okonkwo, founding partner. Same face, different name. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through photos of him at conferences, ribbon-cutting events, corporate galas. He had built a new life, one where she and her mother did not exist. The next morning, she traveled home to Enugu. She didn't tell her mother why she came. She just sat on the couch like a ghost, watching her mother stir egusi soup in the kitchen until she finally spoke. "Is my father dead?" Her mother stiffened. "Kendra, please don't start though." "I saw him, mommy," she screamed. "I saw him yesterday. He's alive. And he's wealthy. He has power. He has a new name." He looked at me and turned away like I was some beggar. There was silence, the kind that breaks bones. Then her mother sat down, slowly. Her hands were shaking. "I begged him to stay," her mother whispered. "But he was running from something bigger than us." "What does that mean?" Kendra asked, her voice shaking. And then the story unraveled. Her father was never sick. The illness was a story her mother cooked up to protect them. What really happened was that her father had borrowed millions to fund his gambling addiction, which he was unable to pay. He was being haunted. One day, he left with a small bag and instructed her to tell everyone that he's dead if they asked, and he never came back. Kendra's mother was young and afraid, so she made the lie official. She told everyone he died. She wore black and even held a fake funeral and raised Kendra alone. "You lied to me," Kendra whispered. "I lied to everyone," her mother replied. Kendra stood up slowly, hot tears falling down her cheeks. You let me grieve a man who didn't deserve my tears. You let me believe I was fatherless. You let me grow up thinking life was just cruel. But it wasn't life. It was you and him. She packed her things that night and went to sleep in a hotel. Back in Port Harcourt, Kendra started monitoring her father. She visited his law office location and sat in the cafe opposite his building. Watched his new life play out like a badly written movie. He had a new wife who is young, polished, and loud. They didn't have any children. Kendra wondered if her father ever missed her, if he ever thought about her birthdays, her first period, her heartbreaks, if he ever really cared about her. Then one day, he walked into the cafe where she was sitting. He didn't notice her at first, but when he did, he paused. She didn't blink. He walked over where she was seated, hesitated a bit, and then he said to her, "You look just like your mother." And that was all he said. Not "I'm sorry," not "How are you," not even her name. She looked him in the eye and said, "You are a ghost, and I buried you twice now. Once as a child, and now as an adult. Only this time, I know what I'm burying." She stood up and walked away. And for the first time in her life, she didn't cry about her father. Because now she knew the lie wasn't hers to carry anymore. It was his. 2 weeks passed. Kendra didn't talk about it to anyone. She didn't cry. She didn't tell anyone, not even her best friend, Sonia. To the world, Kendra was normal, showing up at work and crossing tasks off her to-do list. But inside, she was broken. Not a fragile kind of break. No, this break was cold, silent, and clean. It was the kind of break that would make you to stop waiting for people to apologize for the wrong they did to you. The kind that makes you start again. Kendra deleted every childhood photos of her father. She even pleaded with her boss and requested to be reassigned to any branch of their office outside of Port Harcourt. When she was asked her reasons for wanting to leave the Port Harcourt branch, her response was, "I need a new environment." 2 weeks later, they transferred her to Abuja. By the following weeks, Kendra had packed her bags, changed her number, and moved to Abuja into a fresh new apartment. Abuja gave her space, it gave her silence, and in that silence, she began to write again, something she hadn't done in years. She wrote letters to herself, to the father she lost, to the ghost she met. She would never send them, but she needed to get it out of her mind. She had been doing okay until one evening. A knock came at the door, not loud, just steady. She wasn't expecting anyone. Her neighbors hardly visited. She opened the door halfway, cautiously. Standing there was a teenage girl, light brown skin, skinny, braided hair, a tired face that tried to smile. "Are you Kendra?" the girl asked. Kendra hesitated. "Yes, can I help you?" The girl looked down at her feet, then held out a white envelope. "He said I should give you this, and that I should tell you I'm sorry." Kendra frowned. "Who are you talking about?" The girl looked up, and for the first time, Kendra noticed something. The eyes. Those same sad, familiar eyes. "My name is Zara. Zara Okonkwo," she said softly. "I think I'm your half-sister." Kendra's throat blocked. She stared at the girl. The envelope trembled in Zara's hands. Kendra stood still, frozen. Few seconds later, she reached out and took the envelope. Her fingers couldn't open it. Her breath shortened because whatever was written inside would change everything again. Stay tuned for part 2. You can subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notification. Get ready for part 2.